Morning. We're going to give everybody another 5 minutes or so just to see who shows up. We've got, looks like 2 applicants and 9 projects, so we're just going to give them a few more minutes. All right, thanks. All right. Good morning. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is the Technical Review Committee meeting Tuesday, July 8th, 2025. What we're going to do, because the applicant for 1 and 2 does not appear to be in the room, we're going to go ahead and move up to item number 4 after we talk about the minutes here. So we've got a request to approve June 4th, 2025 and June 18th, 2025 TRC minutes. Have you all had a chance to review these? All right, can I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the minutes have been approved, and I will sign them after. And let's see, before we do move to item number 4, is there anyone here for 2 and 3? I'm not seeing anybody from Interlight, but okay, very good. So we'll go ahead and bump those to the back, or until we have the applicant in-house here. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning. Is this on?
Sounds like it.
Okay, 30 South plat. This is a plat applications consistent with previously approved DO MAJ 2318 submitted by Nautilus Civil Engineers, requesting approval to plat 42 townhomes and associated infrastructure on 5.79 acres with the future land use of residential and a zoning of neighborhood infill. Property is located in District 4 on the west side of Goldsby Road. We have minor comments from planning, more comments from survey and right-of-way, environmental as well. Those are the only outstanding comments at this time. With that, I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, please.
So entered.
And I will entertain any questions you may have, or I will turn it over to the applicant.
Has there been a resubmittal?
I don't believe so. I didn't have a chance to check this morning. I just didn't have a chance to get on there and look, but I don't believe so.
Okay. All right, and the applicant's here?
We have not, Curtis Smith, for the record, with Nautilus Civil Engineers. We have not resubmitted because we're waiting for the direction on how to change the cover page and everything, given the new law on the administrative approval. So we need some direction. So we're not.
We'll get that today. Yeah, at BCC.
I guess the only question I've got right now is, we were very clear on the initial submittal on this, that this is one we wanted to exercise the preliminary plat approval, move forward with pulling the building permits. We still have some things to work through, I think, but want to try to move forward with that.
Okay, and so you're exercising the 50%?
That's what we'd like to do, yes. And they've got 50% of the buildings or they've got kind of delineate. I think they've actually submitted the building permit applications. I think they submitted them a while back. We're going through the final certification on water now to get the fire hydrants active. But once that's done, the site is constructed well enough to support construction traffic and things at this time.
Okay. Do you have the lots you all intend to develop?
Not right on me, but I have them somewhere. They may actually be identified in the narrative. I think they were. I wrote a more detailed narrative on this because of what we were asking to do.
Okay. Okay. Tim, let's get that narrative into the record as part of the staff report as an exhibit, please. Especially in light of that 50%, it needs to be front and center in this reporting.
Also, I don't know if you guys talked about it in your meetings before, as you were discussing how to enact the preliminary plat approval. The way that the state law reads is that it's a performance bond, and I know we have always said letter of credit here. Those are two different things with these financial institutions. And we're getting a lot of things all over the place with these institutions. Some don't want to issue letter of credits and say you need a performance bond, and then the feedback we get from the county is no, it needs to be a letter of credit instead. I think we need to clarify that because the law does say performance bond in verbatim, so I think we have to accept that if that's the case. And in some cases, the bonding companies can get things a little easier and more cost effective than the banks and the letter of credits.
Yeah, I'll try to see if I can get some direction on that today. All right, are there any questions for the applicant? All right. Morning, Sammy. Morning. Well, like currently, I think we are a little, a little behind the ball, if you will, on these things, waiting for the Board of County Commissioners to review the new statutory changes relating to plating. I would actually be willing to conditionally approve this if it wasn't for the outstanding surveying comments. I think that's going to be kind of the crux of this thing moving forward, or these things. You know, if our surveyor is good to go, then I think we're going to have to be.
The comments themselves, none of these I'm really worried about. These are all labeling things that I see on here. It's just a matter of process at this point.
Sure.
I halfway thought that I'd come in here and you would just, everything would be pulled on plats because it's supposed to be administrative approved now. So.
Well, this is an administrative board, and this is, for all intents and purposes, currently a preliminary plat review. As far as the way we've been historically handling it, we'll know the direction after this. But yeah, I'm just I'm not prepared to move this forward currently. I don't want to push you off too long though, but 2 weeks should give us
2 weeks
time
is
to.
fine. As long as we know what I believe the revisions are done. We just need to know what to put on the cover sheet.
Perfect.
So.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and continue this to what's the next meeting? To the 23rd, to the July 23rd TRC meeting. If I could get a motion to that effect.
So move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and continue this to 7:23 TRC meeting. Thank you. And did Interlight ever show up? He's on his way. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to, it looks like item number 5, the Fiber Hub expansion project.
Number 5, this is the Fiber Hub expansion. It's a request to approve by development order. It's project number MIN 25-000104. This is a minor development order application submitted by Ramaker and Associates Incorporated on behalf of Williams Communications. They're requesting to expand the existing fiber hub and existing compound on 0.92 plus or minus acres. Has a future land use of rural residential and a zoning district of rural village. The property is in District 3 and located at 11914 US Highway 90 West. This is located in Mossy Head, and it's identified by the parcel number in your staff report. If you would please enter the staff report into the record.
So entered.
This is a previous DO. They are expanding some items, which has required us to make some comments for some items to meet current code. One of those is just moving the existing, the proposed H-frame back to meet setbacks. There were some other planning comments. One in particular, there is no sidewalk currently on Highway 90, so we may want to take a look at that. I don't know if that would be considered a multi-use path where it's located, or if we're going to have to require a sidewalk at that location on Highway 90.
Has the applicant requested an exemption or buyout?
No, just clarification as to whether we need to install that in that location or not.
I suspect that this development will not be producing any pedestrian traffic based on.
That is correct.
Yeah, I think we could entertain an exemption request or a buyout request. We'll leave that up to the applicant.
Okay. Other items, planning comments were fairly straightforward. There were some survey comments outstanding. And I think that they're just looking for the easement on the existing survey. So no major comments. I don't have anything else unless you have questions for me.
Any questions? All right, we'll hear from the applicant. Thank you.
Good morning, Tyler Beatty with Raymaker.
What was the last name?
Beatty, Beatty.
All right, thank you. Good morning.
We did have a late submittal last night, a resubmittal to address most of the outstanding comments except for the sidewalk question. My colleague Adam Simon has been the one trying to clarify what we need to do there. So that's still open, and as well as the survey. I think we did have a survey completed previously and I believe submitted. So he was just trying to also clarify exactly what needed to happen, if it's something just added to that survey or if it got missed somewhere.
Yeah,
But
it looks like it's the benefit of title is what our surveyor is looking for.
Okay.
Do you have questions about that, or?
I guess I'm not sure where Adam left it. I talked to him last night and he said he was still waiting to hear back from, I'm not sure if he was trying to reach out to your surveyor. But he thought he was going to hear back yesterday and never did, which is why the submittal came in so late, because he was kind of hoping to get that clarified.
Okay.
But the rest should be addressed in the resubmittal from last night if that's been had a chance to look at. I know it's only about 12 hours ago. So.
Right. I suspect not.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you have any questions for us?
I guess the sidewalk is the other thing. It sounds like an exemption request, maybe the route.
Yeah, I'll leave it up to you if you'd like to request an exemption or buyout, and I'll work with Public Works to see what's appropriate at that location. I don't think that we would consider that dirt trail that I'm assuming is there as a pedestrian way, or not an officialized pedestrian way, but yeah,
Sure.
make whatever request you'd prefer, and we'll work through it on our end.
Okay. What's the process to do that exemption request?
You just write a letter addressed to the director on letterhead, with some simple information, site plan and linear feet that you're looking to be exempted from or to buy out, with your reasoning why. I would suggest that the lack of any pedestrian traffic being generated would be one of your primary
Sure.
reasonings there. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
No, I think those are the only kind of two open things.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant? All right. Thank you.
So I guess where do we stand at this point?
I'm going to ask the project manager to come back up, and then you'll figure that out relatively shortly.
Understood. Thank you.
you. Rosanna?
Our minor comments, the applicant has stated he has resubmitted, so staff would recommend we conditionally approve this.
Okay, thank you. Because this is a minor, I'll go ahead and open this up to public comment. If there are any, please come forward. Seeing none, can I have a motion to conditionally approve and move this forward upon satisfying all outstanding comments?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, this is conditionally approved, pending successful address of all outstanding comments. Thank you. Okay, next item, sports motoring at Highway 98. Good morning.
Yes, thank you. This is a minor development order application submitted by Jenkins Engineering. Here. Requesting approval to develop a 10,091 square foot automobile care center and associated infrastructure on 1.39 acres with the future land use of industrial and extractive uses and a zoning of light industrial. Property is located in District 5 on the south side of Highway 98, just west of the Publix. So this one is a little tricky since it's in the scenic corridor. They're only moving pretty much one property over. They're already existing just to the east of this property. However, any inventory, any cars will need to be screened from view like we did with the Porsche dealership. So they have done that. There's a fence around the building, and the cars being operated on or being repaired, and the cars that are finished repaired will be inside the fence. So that was one of the biggest elements of this proposed project. So they are doing that. With With that said, Fire uploaded their comments yesterday, so there are no outstanding comments remaining on the TRC side or the scenic corridor side. So everything has been met, and with that, I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, please.
So entered.
And I'll entertain any questions you have, or I'll turn it over to the applicant.
Do you have any questions? No. I do, just a simple, and this may not be the time, but do we have the fence or the screening wall laid out in here? Do we know what it's going to consist of or look like?
Yes, there is, obviously all I provided was the single-page site plan, but there is a detail for the fence in the plans.
Okay, and it's meeting all the requirements for the corridor?
Basically, it's a 6-foot privacy fence.
Fair enough. All right, thank you, Tim.
Yep.
Morning, everybody. Jamie Eubanks with Jenkins Engineering.
Morning.
Tim said, I believe all comments were addressed, so we would just ask to be advertised for the August DRB meeting.
Okay. And Sammy, it looks like your comments came in late, but you're good to go?
Sure.
Right. Okay. I don't have any questions. Anybody else? Nothing? All right, anything for us?
No.
All right, Jamie, thank you.
Thank you.
This is a minor, so I'll go ahead and open it up for public comment if there's anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this item. All right. Seeing none, can I have a motion?
Motion.
That is a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. This project is approved to move forward to DRB and to the director's desk.
Yes, I was going to say to the design review board.
Right. All right, the next item is the Hotel Rain.
Yes, Hotel Rain Inlet Beach. This is a major development or application submitted by McNeil Carroll Engineering, requesting approval to add a parcel to the 38th Avenue development, construct a 78-unit hotel with parking garage and associated infrastructure on 3.34 acres with the future land use of mixed use and the zoning of village mixed use. The property is located in District 5 on the east side of US Highway 98 at the, I guess that would be the western boundary of the 30th Avenue development. So I would like to preface by saying that there's an issue between the code and the Inlet Beach Neighborhood Plan. We've discovered that under the VMU zoning in the Inlet Beach Plan, there's an error as it relates to limited lodging. So as the staff report lays out, we are going to move this project forward and let the county commission determine whether it is or is not allowed under the Inlet Beach Plan, because with the error that we discovered, it's a little unclear whether it is or it is not. So we're giving the applicant the benefit of the doubt and we're moving it forward. With that said, there are outstanding comments from planning, environmental, and right-of-way. And in addition to that, there are some outstanding scenic corridor comments as well. The biggest comment, or the most impactful comment, is the scrub preservation along Sandy Pine, what's the name of that road? West Pinewood Circle. So that's required preservation under the 30th Avenue development order, and Bradley is of the opinion that parking garage is encroaching into it. So that's the most impactful comment. We just need to determine whether it is or if it is or if it isn't, and if it is, they're probably going to have to move it because I'm not sure that they could buy any more out, or I'm not sure we would allow them to buy any more preservation out. Because even if they could buy it out, that doesn't automatically mean the county's going to approve that buyout. So with that said, I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, please.
So entered.
And I will entertain any questions you may have, or I will turn it over to the applicant.
Do you have any questions? No. Tim, I have. So the 30 Avenue development, was that that was a previous approval? Was it a planned unit development or master plan here? Or?
It was master planned. I don't believe it was a PUD. I don't have it in here as a PUD, so I don't believe it was. But it is a master plan community.
Okay.
And this is, I believe, the last vacant area of the development. I don't know if this will actually completely build it out, but I do believe this is the last vacant portion remaining. And they do want to add that one parcel. I believe it's right there at the corner of West Pinewood and Highway 98.
Okay. And what is, in terms of the scrub preservation, what is remaining there? What are we waiting for some additional analyses on the habitat, or what's going on?
Well, I think we're waiting on them to identify, I guess, the line, where the line is and where the hotel is, whether it encroaches or does not encroach. I think Brad just used the measuring tool, and by his measurement, he feels like it is encroaching into that area, but we don't really have any specific documentation one way or the other. So I think we're wanting them to provide that documentation that here's that line,
Yep.
and here's where the parking garage sits. Either it's encroaching or it isn't, and I think if it is, then they're gonna have to move it east, I believe, to get it out.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Will the applicant like to come forward?
Good morning, Robert Carroll, McNeil Carroll Engineering, 17800 Panama City Beach Parkway. We are the engineer of record for this development, and fortunately, we were the engineer of record for the 38 development. So we have all the original documentation. The parking garage does not encroach into the buffer. We have overlaid all of the original documents to show where that was. However, there is a portion of the hotel. So we had a preservation area that was all, on the screen here. But there was a big preservation that's on the north side of the development. We had an entry road that tied into West Pinewood. And on the west side of West Pinewood, there is a 5,000 square foot little block that somehow, for whatever reason, got left as preservation. The original buyout, we were allowed to buy it at 50%. We were less than 50%. It was 40+%. But we would be asking to buy out the 5,000 square foot. It's a little square. Again, I don't know why it was ever left. The landscape plan, when you look at those, it even says that it's not to be preserved, but as part of the calculations, we did it just because we didn't have to write the check at the time. So, but we would ask for that one. We have all that documentation. We plan to upload everything today. We've added the sidewalk on West Pinewood, not on the side road. We've given the circulation plan. We've created a new site data table based on the 3 acres, not the overall. So all the clarification and questions that have been asked, we've had those answered. We'll upload today. But we would request that small buyout, which still puts it under the 50%.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions for us?
No, sir.
Any questions for the applicant?
Ready to move forward.
Sorry.
We're just ready to move forward.
Yes, sir. All right. Tim, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm assuming, maybe erroneously, that it's going to be up to the county commission whether they can buy this out or not, unless we want to make that determination. But the county isn't obligated to allow that buyout. We can either say, yeah, we'll let you, or no, we won't. But if we allow it, then, and he's got the documentation showing, then I don't see an issue with moving forward.
Yeah, I think I think that should be part of the presentation to the board. That the applicant is requesting some additional buyout. that there is some remaining if that's the case, and all that information should be tied in and provided to the board in their decision-making process there. And I do just want to mention briefly, the inconsistency in the neighborhood plan and the land development code, and why the director is not making a determination, and it simply just appears to be a mistake, and the director does not make determinations on mistakes. The director makes determinations on what is otherwise nebulous language in the code or confusing language. So
Yeah, it does appear to be an error, just an error at the time they were writing it up.
yes, okay. So your recommendation is to conditionally approve to move forward to planning commission based on satisfying all outstanding comments.
The design review board.
Design review board, and then the planning commission, after successfully addressing all outstanding comments. All right,
Yes.
can I have a motion to that effect?
Move with staff's recommendation.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. This project is conditionally approved to move forward. And looks like we're still waiting on Interlight, so let's go ahead and go with the Asland Sand Wash Edition.
Okay, Aslan Sandwash Edition. It's a minor development order application submitted by Jenkins Engineering Inc. on behalf of MVM Landfill LLC, requesting to add a sand washing equipment to an already active borrow pit site on 245.55 acres with a future land use of industrial and extractive uses and zoning district of extractive uses. Property is located in District 2 at 449 County Clay Pit Road and can be identified with the parcel number in your packet. At this point, the applicant has satisfied all of the comments. There was very few minor comments. They quickly got them handled. Only thing left is just the conditions of approval that are on the staff report. Can I enter the staff report into the record, please?
So entered. Is the applicant here?
Yeah.
All right.
Morning again, Jamie Eubanks with Jenkins Engineering. As Eric said, I believe we've addressed everything. You know, this is just an internal process at the pit. It recirculates the existing pond water, washes the sand, continues the cycle, so to speak, so that they have clean sand.
So what does that do to the overall process out there? They don't have they currently don't have a sand washing operation?
I don't think that it is permitted if they do.
Okay. So this a sand washing addition requires some state agency approvals and permitting processes?
Oh, they have an active pit permit. And then, yes, this has been submitted to DEP as well.
Okay.
So,
And
yes.
do we know what direction that's going? Is that just?
They're in their review. I actually have a call with them next week.
Okay.
So it's considered a minor mining activity. It's not mining as we think of it as mining, of course, but because they're processing the sand, it does have to check some of those boxes.
So what is the process? I mean, is it just simply an additional rinse with water, or is there
It
chemicals
is. So
involved?
it's a screw, brings it up. There's water and air that gets blown through it, essentially removes smaller rocks, materials like that. And it goes through a couple of this cycle, and then the water goes back into they have a wet pond on site, goes back into the wet pond. The clean sand's taken off site, or stored and then taken off site. And then it just repeats the cycle for the next load.
Okay. All right. Any questions for the applicant? No? All right. Any questions for us?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you. This is a minor. I will go ahead and open this up to any public comment. We have any?
Yeah.
Good morning. Please make sure you say and spell your name for the record. It doesn't matter.
I just actually have a question. And
ponds are lined and they're not infiltrating down to the aquifer. So I wanted to know what these ponds were and how they're being managed.
Understood. Thank you.
So the ponds are not lined. They're the existing ponds that were permitted with the pit. However, no chemicals are used in this process whatsoever. It is strictly rain runoff that falls on the site that is circulated through the sand. So there's no chemicals, there's nothing unnatural with the process added at all.
And if the state agencies that have purview over those particular operations would like to make those comments as part of their review, I'm sure they would.
Sure.
All right. All right, thank you. Anyone else in the audience would like to speak to this? Yes, ma'am.
Project after that. And then there were further reports, obviously, moratorium on anything that be in the area until further reports could come back. I have not had access to any of those. And the DEP, as far as I know, that was still outstanding itself. So I don't, and this is a minor development where we don't really have it within a major development that has a host of questions. And so I could just think that we need more information in the public. I don't hear information that comes back to me on the questions overall in this area of location. Everything seems to get moved. Push things forward. And without really proper review and environmental information.
So what are your technical questions and concerns there?
The actual location of that site is really on top of the forest and obviously on the overall project that was proposed and was previously permitted to move forward prior to the county commission or the DEP being notified of the toxic water from
From,
I'm sorry, from the report given in the record.
where would the,
So this
where,
was, these were water reports that Commissioner Glidewell spoke to. That they're very, very all of Walton County's potable drinking water. And there ended around June 1st.
mhm.
That project was then tabled. I have not seen any update or any of that new water report. But I know that those I don't see how we can allow continuing work on the public is entitled to know.
Understood. Thank you. Anyone else? Jamie, would you like to approach any of those concerns?
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure we're talking about the same projects. There's obviously multiple pits that are in the process. My understanding is the area of concern is not this particular pit. I could be wrong on that. I haven't followed the moratorium or any of that news
No,
as
I
well.
think that's an accurate statement. I believe it was directly related to a landfill.
Correct. And this does not be a landfill. This has no landfill permit. This is pit that went through the county approval and the DEP approval in 2008 originally, give or take. And again, this has a reclamation plan at the end. It is not a landfill. That reclamation plan includes the planting of longleaf pines and that sort of thing. So no landfill activities proposed whatsoever. And again, no chemicals or anything else proposed.
Reclamation plans can be adjusted and amended.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just what is there now is certainly not approved for landfill. And if it was, it would obviously have to go back through the entire process for the landfill approval.
That's a whole.
I hate
other
even
permitting
mentioning landfill because
Right.
that's not at all a part of this.
Understood. All right. Thank you. Eric, what are your thoughts?
Seeing that the applicant has met all of the comments and that it meets our code, I believe that we should.
Okay. Any questions, concerns, comments from the committee? No? I will just say to sort of speak to some of the residents' concerns is that, we're not, the county that is, and in particular, this body is not charged with the same permitting responsibilities or understanding as the DEP and other water management districts, those sort of things. So I firmly believe if there's any issues with this proposal, that it'll be addressed at the state level under their purview. And I will ask for a motion in keeping with staff's recommendation.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, this has been approved, conditionally approved to move forward to the director's desk. All right, we have item number 9. I still don't see Interlight. Is this an Interlight project? Oh, there you are. Hi. All right, tell you what, let's go ahead and take number 9 and then we'll double back and do the first few. All right. We are on Inlet Cove plat, number 9.
Yes, good morning. This is a request to approve by final plat. It's project number PLA 25000055. It's a plat application consistent with previously approved development order MIN 24000033. It's submitted by Volker Surveying LLC on behalf of Inlet Cove Investments Group LLC. They're requesting to plat 12 single-family lots and associated infrastructure on 1.45 acres. The project has a future land use category of residential and a zoning district of neighborhood infill. The property is located in District 5 at 102 Walton Palm Road and 74 Irish Way. It's identified by the parcel numbers in your packet. Will you please enter the staff report into the record?
So entered.
This was continued from the June 18th meeting. We received a second submittal on June the 10th of this for this project. Since that, we've had reviews by right-of-way and environmental and planning. So there will be at least one more submittal on this project to address those comments. We did find that the engineer's cost estimate was approved yesterday. That's one of the planning comments. I don't know if they're going to do a letter of credit. That's a question we'll have to ask the applicant. They did pay the recreation and 911 addressing fees. However, the prop fair share fees have not been paid. Those are to be found in CitizenServe instead of EnerGov.
Okay.
$3,842.75.
Yeah.
So, with that said, unless you have questions for me, I'll be glad to turn it over to our applicant.
Questions for Kelly? All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ronald Velker, Velker Surveying. I have spoken to several individuals concerning the comments. All the comments have been addressed. The surveyor has approved this. The only thing I think is outstanding at this point is the fees, which the applicant is in the process of taking care of. The development order has yet to be, the final development order has yet to be approved because we're waiting on the Florida Power and Light to turn the power on so they can test the lift station, which I understand is being done at the end of this week.
I'm a little confused. What, you said the final development order hasn't been approved?
Yeah, they haven't signed off on the DO yet. Jacob's got to go out there and bless it, basically, and they can't do that until they test the lift station, and they can't test the lift station until Florida Power and Light does their part.
Right. So all of the comments that are in the report have been addressed in a resubmittal? When was the
Yeah, we resubmitted, I want to say it was Thursday. I don't know if it's been, obviously, based on the conversation, hasn't been reviewed yet. But I've spoken to both Kelly and Andrea on their comments.
Okay, okay, and you believe you've addressed all of them?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant? No? Okay. In keeping with my previous comment about the surveyor not being or having not approved the earlier one, he has approved it, in fact, on this one. And in line with what I believe our process is going to be in terms of platting, I do think we can conditionally approve this to move forward. I understand that opens that up for the applicant to start pulling building permits, which I'm sure he or she is excited to do. But I do want to condition that approval on the payment of any outstanding fees, and certainly ensuring that all these comments have been addressed. So I would seek a motion to that effect. Unless you all don't want to.
I'm good.
Okay.
So it's conditionally approved.
Yes.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. This is approved to move forward conditionally upon payment of outstanding fees and satisfaction of any comments.
One quick thing, along with this, one of the issues that probably will need to be addressed is in order to obtain a building permit, they have to get parcel ID numbers. So I think there's some type of coordination need to be met between the planning department and the property appraiser. So that can be taken care of. Because that is an issue at this point.
Sure. Yeah, we'll have to work on some of that coordination internally, as this is sort of a new process. I say new, but yeah, we'll figure that out for you.
Yep.
Thanks. All right, back to item number 2, the Arbor View Park Phase 1 plat.
All right, number 2, the Arbor View Park Phase 1 plat. This is a request to approve by final plat. It's project number PLA 25-000059. This is a plat application consistent with the previously approved development order, minor 22-000047 and LTM 25-000112. It's been submitted by Interlight Engineering on behalf of St. Joe. They're requesting to plat 78 single-family lots and associated infrastructure on 29.94 plus or minus acres. The project site has a future land use and a zoning district of Bay Walton Sector Plan Village Center. Property is in District 5 and it's located on Swanee Drive. It is identified by the parcel number in your staff report. If you would please enter the staff report into the record.
So entered.
There are a number of outstanding items. One, we're still waiting on the final development order for the less than minor. I think we're just waiting for fire at this point because there was some revisions to the internal road, so we were waiting for that. Planning comments are fairly minor. There are a number of right-of-way comments, though, and we are still waiting for an engineer's cost estimate or a letter of credit or an update on the infrastructure. Some other labeling items, covenants, articles of incorporation, that type of thing. Surveying comments, there was just one minor comment, and that was related to the planning director's certificate. But as we know, there will be other changes to some of the certifications, so not anything new there. Lastly, we are still calculating fees for the plat recreation. That at this point is the only outstanding fee along with the 911. But once we have those figures, they also need to be paid.
Okay.
I can turn it over to the applicant unless you have questions for me.
Any questions for Rosanna? All right, thank you.
Thank you and good morning. I'm David Smith with Interline Engineering.
Morning.
And glad to be here on a Tuesday TRC. So great to see everybody and thank you. The comments are minor. I agree with Rosanna. I mean, there's a couple comments. I know in the engineering comments, there's a couple on there that aren't applicable. I know we've talked about. And, I'd be happy to answer any questions. With the less than minor, I did want to clarify, we are extending a few of the lot lines. We've removed some drainage structures and we shortened a road segment. It's probably about 80 feet. It's a very minor section that we just shortened, and that was the only change with the less than minor. So we would request to move forward, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the applicant? No. The covenants and restrictions, are those forthcoming?
Yes, they are.
Okay. They're currently being drafted, or what's the situation there?
St. Joe drafts them, and they are currently being prepared.
Okay. Okay.
And Katie's saying we already have them, so we can provide those. Thank you, Katie.
Great. And so you haven't resubmitted, but you don't have any concerns with these comments, and they do look mostly like labeling.
They are like FFE label, high quality wetland buffer, and the engineering cost estimate. We have that, so they are very minor.
And I see this comment number 8. It looks like the site plan called out high quality wetland buffer. You want to tell me about that a little bit? What is that?
A high quality wetland buffer is, with St. Joe, they have their RGP, which stands for Regional General Permit, and they have 2 wetland designations, an altered wetland and a high quality wetland. High quality wetlands per the RGP have to have a 30-foot minimum buffer with an average of 50 feet. So the label of high quality, that buffer exceeds the county's requirement. I know you know that, but that's why it's labeled that way.
Okay.
It's a 30-foot minimum based on that RGP permit.
Based on the quality of the wetland.
Correct. Yes. It's a high quality. It has a 30-foot minimum buffer. Altered wetlands have no buffers.
Okay.
Because of the quality.
Sure. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rosanna?
Staff would recommend that we conditionally approve this for administrative approval once the fees are paid and all the outstanding items have been addressed, and we do receive a signed Mylar.
As well as a signed DO.
And a signed DO for the less than minor. That is correct. Thank you.
Okay. We have staff's recommendation. Can I have a motion to that effect or not?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. This project is conditionally approved pending successful address of all outstanding comments, payment of fees, assigned DO for the LTM changes, and whatever else was part of that motion. Thank you. All right, item number 3.
This is the Longleaf Park Phase 3 plat. It's request to approve by final plat, project number PLA 25-000060. This is a plat application consistent with the previously approved minor 22-000036 and LTM 24-000067 and submitted by Interlight Engineering on behalf of St. Joe. They're requesting to plat 57 single-family lots and associated infrastructure on 34.20 plus or minus acres. Project site has a future land use in a zoning district of Bay Walton Sector Plan, Village Center. properties in District 5, and it is, just shorten that, it's north of Watersound Parkway North, about 0.3 miles around the roundabout over there, and identified by the parcel numbers in your staff report. If you would please enter a staff report into the record.
So entered.
There are no surveying comments on this one. Few minor planning comments, mostly change in the signature block, clarification on the acreage in order to calculate those rec fees. So they will have to pay the rec fee and the 911 fee, but I needed clarification. There was a slight acreage change in making that calculation, so I'll have to ask the applicant for that. Other than that, I think there was one other comment from environmental, and that is probably labeling.
Yeah.
Labeling.
Yep.
Yep. But that would be it for this one.
Any questions for staff? No, all right.
Again, I'm David Smith with Interline Engineering, and comments are very minor, so we can easily address those, and we would respectfully request to move forward. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
St. Joe's working on the CNRs and articles?
We already have those.
Great.
Did verify that before I came back up.
And then to the acreage change, can you just speak
I
to
think
that?
that's
a
a
bit?
typo.
A typo.
Because Katie and I were just talking, we did not change the boundaries, so I think we're gonna have a typo there, so we can resolve that.
Okay, okay. Any questions, comments, concerns for the applicant? Andrea? No? All right, again, in keeping with, well, I'll actually ask Rosanna to go ahead and give us her recommendation.
Staff would recommend we conditionally approve this one as well upon payment of outstanding fees, addressing the comments, and providing a Mylar.
Very good. All right, can I have a motion to that effect or not?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, this project is conditionally approved in keeping with Rosanna's recommendation. And I think
Do it.
that's it. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.